Recording is set up. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I hereby call this meeting of September 16th, 2025 to order. I'd like to welcome you here. My name is Mayor Carolyn Lundberg, and I'm grateful for our council that are all here in attendance this afternoon. As we proceed this afternoon and evening, we will first have an invocation by Council Member Lincoln Jacobs, and then we will follow that by a Pledge of Allegiance led by Don Farley. So, thank you.
Our dear Father in heaven, we gather together this evening as a city council, Father, and pray that thy Spirit might accompany us this evening as we discuss items of our city, as we celebrate things, and as we make decisions. We pray that that would help us to be mindful of one another's feelings, and that we would be open to hearing all sides of any discussion points that we have on our agenda. We ask a special blessing, Father, to be with those who have been affected with the events at UVU this week. We pray for those who are seeking thee for comfort, that thou might give them peace and comfort. We pray for those who are struggling, trying to understand and put the pieces together, they might be able to find those who can bless their lives and touch them. We're so grateful, Father, for our first responders, for their dedication, for their diligence, for their patience as they worked through the various issues. Father, we're grateful for this wonderful land that we have to live. We pray that would help us to always encourage discussion, that we can be kind to one another as we discuss and listen to one another's views. And we offer this prayer to thee in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Councilmember Jacobs. Come forward, Don.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Don.
Thank you.
Before we begin this evening's meeting, I just wanted to share a couple thoughts. Originally, my intentions were to just highlight that beginning tomorrow, September 17th through the 23rd, here in our nation, we celebrate Constitution Week, and this is Constitution Month throughout our nation. This celebrates the rights and responsibilities of American citizenship. And the history going back to that is interesting. The Daughters of the American Revolution initiated this observance back in 1955, and their petition to Congress led to the establishment of Constitution Week by President Dwight D. Eisenhower in 1956. Our Constitution reminds us of the responsibilities we all share to protect our freedoms, respect the rights of others, and engage actively in our representative democracy. As so thoughtfully prayed for our Councilmember Jacobs, we are mourning, our community is in mourning about the horrifying and evil murder that occurred in our community. We are reminded of the precious freedoms enshrined in our Constitution, freedoms that allow us to speak our minds, practice our faith, assemble with others, and hold our government accountable. And these are not just words on paper. These are the very principles that define who we are as a nation. So as a council, as a city, as staff, I just want to share our condolences and prayers that go out to the Kirk family and the staff, as well as those who were present in our community when this tragedy occurred in the courtyard at UVU. We also need to thank, with a debt of gratitude, to all of our first responders, our own Lindon City Police Department was activated to assist Orem City, the hospital, and Utah Valley University. What a blessing they are to us each and every day, working to keep us safe and upholding the rule of law as they face evil and difficult and dangerous situations. So in the face of this violence and fear, our Constitution calls us to act with courage to defend the rights of all citizens and to ensure that hatred and intimidation do not silence our voices. It reminds us that freedom carries responsibility. The responsibility to engage in civil discourse peacefully, as our governor wisely stated to all the world, and to treat everyone with dignity and respect. So I want to thank this council, this city staff, all those here, because here in Lindon, thank you for embodying these values and endeavoring to serve the residents of Lindon with integrity and fairness and dedication. Our discussions today and the decisions we make are guided by the trust our community places in us, and we honor that responsibility. So, with that, let us begin with today's agenda. We have the honor of swearing in a new officer to our community. We're so excited about that, and also recognizing the advancement of another outstanding officer. So with that, I'll turn the time over to our venerable police chief.
Mayor, we haven't
Broward.
done a roll call. I would just
Oh my
like to call that
goodness,
attention.
yes. Let's do our roll call. Thank you, council. We'll begin with that. Go ahead.
Cole Hooley, present.
Steve Stewart, present.
Jake Hoyt, present.
Carolyn Lundberg, present.
Van Broderick, present.
Lincoln Jacobs, present.
Very good. All right, thank you. And council, in your comments, you are welcome to share any thoughts as well. But I just wanted to start off the meeting with that word. And we're grateful for our Constitution. We're grateful for all those that serve and uphold it. Chief, please come forward.
Okay. I'm not sure we're going to follow up after that, but thanks, Mayor. And I just want to echo those sentiments, how proud I am for the individuals in this room and the rest of our staff who, without thinking, ran to the event without any hesitation, not knowing what they're getting into, head to the hospital, not knowing what they're going to see, and just taking care of what needed to be taken care of and getting into action. So thanks. I mean, that's what is expected of us, and they performed amazingly. I want to introduce you to our new officer, Dave Baumforth. Why don't you come on up, my friend? So Dave has been hired to fill the vacancy we had, and he has 22 years of experience, a little over 22, and then a year with UTA. I've known Dave for quite some time. Dave is an experienced officer in many capacities. He's going to serve us well, and I think he'll fit in great to the group and to our citizens. So we're lucky to have him, and we welcome you, and we'll do a swearing in by Brittany. So you just walk right up there and we'll give your badge.
All right, raise your right hand, please, and then just repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Dave Ballwood,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will discharge the duties of my office
and I will discharge the duties of my office
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Welcome to the team. I was chatting with him just previously, Officer Baumforth. We have the honor of getting a seasoned veteran from the Sheriff's Department and just a little time at UTA, so.
Just a little bit, just enough to get that year past me so I can come back.
All right, secondly, I want to reintroduce you to Officer Dave Farley and his family here, his wife Sarah, and some extended family of his. So as far as the police department goes, we have the officer, then we have the corporal advancement, then we have our sergeants, the lieutenant, and the sheriff, myself. So as part of the advancement to the corporal to provide opportunity, they have to meet several requirements to obtain that advancement. Some of those are several leadership courses, advanced traffic crash investigations, child forensic interviewing, advanced crash investigations, and several things that meet those requirements, and some years of experience. So with that said, I'm going to have now Corporal Farley come on up, and we'll have Sarah come up and pin his corporal badge on him. But we would like to recognize these advancements to show our appreciation and the time and effort it takes to meet those requirements. And I've told Sarah she can, he's not wearing his vest. Stick him in there if you like it.
We got that, that's right.
Hey, I'm gonna try my best.
I don't know if there's anything more stressful than pinning something on someone. I can't handle that stress in my life. Yeah. I can't handle that.
Too much. And under observation, it's like.
All right. Congrats. Thank you for.
Like, he's always good for a laugh, isn't he? Prankster. I have to tell a little story about him. I got a call from my sister a few years ago, and she said, come on down to 16. She gave me her location. She said, I'm in the back of one of your police cars. So I came down over by Home Depot, and yes, she was in the back of Farley's police car. But it wasn't for being in trouble. They played a little prank on me at first, that maybe it was. But actually, there had been a random tire that flew off the freeway and smashed her car, and he offered her some nice air conditioning while she was getting her car towed. So a lot of fun. We're so grateful for all your hard work, and awesome. Congrats on the advancement. Okay. All right. Any other comments or announcements?
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for all the support. Thank you, Officer Farley's family, for being here. We're lucky to have him. All right, we will now move on to item number 3. This is our open session for public comment. Anything that is not listed on tonight's agenda. All right, see none. We'll move forward to item number 4. This is our weekly, our council reports of the activities of our council. So, Lincoln, would you like to start us off? You feel ready?
I'm happy to start and give the shortest report I have ever given since serving on the council. Not because a lot of amazing stuff has gone on or hasn't gone on, but because I didn't reach out and gather the information. So Planning Commission, we're going to cover the items that we covered in our last Planning Commission in our agenda, and that's it.
Wonderful. Thank you for your service on Planning Commission. That takes a lot of extra time, so.
Thank you. I know others will comment on this too, but our public safety drill, always appreciate that, the work of staff and city and residents putting that together. I also serve as a block captain, and so it's always fun to see how our citizens respond to that, and it's received well. And then just again, a shout out to our police force, our first responders with the event at UVU. That occurred right next to my home. My mother still lives there. And that, again, so when officers go in, when everybody else is going out, that touches us, so thank you again.
Thank you. All right, Councilmember Hoyt.
Just have a couple updates from Chief. I always appreciate his updates. The couple of numbers from the drill, 6,870 pounds of donations through the food drive, and a 72% of residences accounted for, which seems a little low than previous years. Is that accurate? A little lower. Maybe we're doing more precise counting? Maybe.
We'll have to have a discussion on that with our new emergency manager and see what we can do to help excite people again, so.
Okay, we've, another update from Chief. We've had about 10 applicants for the emergency manager position to close next week. Several qualified applicants. I guess I had a quick thought on that and wondering, when we made that a full-time position, I think there was a lot of discussion that went into that, and a split vote perhaps even. I guess I would maybe love an update of, hey, we went forward with that, and it's been worth the full-time employee.
So you may not be aware, Jake, so we are only advertising for a part-time
Oh,
position to
perfect.
fill this.
That's helpful.
And in October, we will be asking for the funds that were allocated towards that position, move to another position in our HR.
Love it.
That we feel is the need is growing for that to move to full-time, and so we'll be making that request in October in our budget amendment, so.
Way ahead of me, as always. Thank you.
Our youth council met last Monday in their first official meeting and held elections. We had 17 of 18 there, and we now have 8 elected officers within our youth council. Our new youth mayor is Venna Orm. Our deputy mayor is Asher B. Richardson. Our secretary is Brigham Jensen. Our recorder is Vincent Abachi. Our treasurer is Tristan Roberts. Our events chair is Alyssa Hill. Our communications chair is Auburn Warner, and our historian is Teresa Okawa. All great individuals, willing to serve, wanting to serve, and meaning the other 10 that we have will be at-large members of that council, and we're excited for the leadership that we now have and for the opportunity to move forward. And I was going to mention that they also participate in collecting 6,870 pounds of food. Jake stole my thunder a little bit, but yeah, they've been involved and will yet be involved in many activities, and we're excited for the opportunities they'll have.
Wonderful, thank you.
Awesome. For the communities that care, on September 30th at 11:45 to 1, it's the Key Leaders Lunch and Training. The Communities That Care is a research-based program. It's packaged, and there are certain activities that you engage in order to have fidelity to the model to get the outcomes that have shown in the research. And one of those is this Key Leader thing, and it's one of the places that our CTC is beefing up. And so you've probably got an email already about it, but would invite you to come. And if you have connections to other leaders in the city, business, ecclesiastical, educational, anything, the whole point is if you get the key leaders together and we focus on similar, a shorter list of community needs that we can get further. So that's what the task will be there. With the tree board, they're doing well. The interlocal, we've met recently, and we're about to, there's some minor changes, but we're about to release a public-facing document to outline some updates as to the standing of the district. We've got some updated numbers from the district about the finances of the district, and with the tax increase, it's improved the outlook for our district. There's a lot of really strong things in place, so we're putting together something we'll send out to the public soon, and working with the other districts right now to help try to close some of the legislative gaps that we noted earlier. And then with the Historic Commission, there's two things. One is they would like to continue the practice they started last year at the tree lighting of having an honorary tree lighter. So Betty Clark, she was the first, and since has passed, but she lit the tree. Before that, it's been the mayor who's lit the tree, and they would like to continue nominating a person from the city to be the honorary tree lighter.
Love it.
Yeah, I was like, I think that's a great practice. They've submitted 4 names for our consideration: Diane Fage, Boyd Walker, Sue Speed, and Rhonda Vanchieri. So the way it worked in the past was they submitted names, and similar to other appointments or recognitions, this body decided on one, and then the mayor, with help of staff, extended the formal invitation and recognition. So that's one thing for us. If we don't have time to think about it now, that's fine, but probably sooner than later so that we can get that locked in. And
It's
then,
interesting, I just have a quick, sorry
yeah.
to interrupt.
No, that's great.
With our centennial, we had 2 gentlemen that were 100 years old, born in Lindon on our centennial. And as I invited them to come, giving them some notice, one of them kept saying, well, call me next week, Mayor, and see if I'm still here.
You're like, yes for now.
But I love honoring those more seasoned
Yeah.
citizens like Boyd or
Yeah.
some of those that we may not have much longer.
Yeah.
They've really been amazing in our
I think it
community.
was a special thing. So that it's something for us to think about, and then we'll be receiving some information about potential reappointments. Several terms have lapsed, and so they're in the process of confirming who would like to be considered again, and we'll be seeing those in the near future. But as far as proceeding with which of those names, I don't know procedurally if you want me just to email you those names and we can bring it up in our next meeting, or if it's simple enough for me just to circle back to the Historic Commission with your recommendation.
Great. Michael, did you want to share, our chair, Brett Swellberg, just had a thought about some of the openings. There's some specific skill sets they're looking for.
Yeah, Nicole can help me with this, but they would also like to, the Historic Commission would also like to put out an application citywide to see who's interested in serving on the committee. Especially they're looking for some needs for
Historical research, writing and editing, website development, and graphic design.
So you would still have, you would still appoint those people. We'd bring you some different applications, then you would make that appointment to the committee, so.
All right, thank you.
Do you want to discuss those names now, or do you want that to come back on an agenda item? Either way
Names
is
for the tree
probably-
lighting?
Yeah, either way is fine.
Yeah, we have time either way. I'll just send them to you and we can
Yeah,
put it
why
on
don't
the
we
agenda.
Look
That'd
at
be
it.
email
think it over.
communication?
Just send them by email
Or is that too?
or write it down now.
That's
Just so we can not to make the decision by email, to see the name list so we can mull it
Oh,
over.
yeah.
Yeah,
You're worried
And then
about
we-
decision making?
yeah, decision would need to be in an open.
Deliberation, that's all.
Yes.
So if it's just information, but if there's a lot of back and forth, but this isn't a significant issue. I'm not worried about that too much, so.
Yes. All right, very good. Thank you, council. Yes, the food drive last night and the city drill, still very, very good participation from our city. If you compare nationwide, it may not be our peak that we're used to, being kind of number one, but it was still very good. There was also a senior resource fair. I was able to pop in there. Jamie Jensen and our staff did a great job with that. It was fun to see the different resources that came. And then folks, if they played a little bingo visiting the tables, they got a free $10 Walmart gift card. So again, thank you to Walmart. They're a great community partner. Our movie in the park is coming up, I think it's the last one, sponsored by the bank on October 3rd. And then also there's the Halloween Spooktacular coming up on October 24th. And so our Parks and Rec would love to invite any businesses. This is a time for people or businesses to host a trunk and give away, and it is so popular. We have thousands of people come, and I think that model of having the spook alley going down the hill, and the trunks was a lot of fun. So also, I'd like to just give a quick shout out to community member Ann Stevens. She's the one who has put together our concerts in the park throughout the summer. We had our last one last weekend, and so thank you to her for putting those together, bringing in some really awesome bands and having those fun evenings. And then something as well, you know, when people might have come to the food drive, they might have seen some of our CERT members in the green vests. Our CERT Community Emergency Response Team is very strong and thriving in our community right now. We have some amazing leadership with our emergency manager, full-time, Kelly Hoos Johnson, stepping away and retiring. We hope to have some of the work that she did throughout the community really supported and strengthened and continued forward with our CERT team. So we have a new cohort of opportunity for people in the community to train. I'd recommend any council members who haven't done before. I know some of you have, I have. It's coming up. The next group will be October 9th, 11th, 23rd, 25th. And there's a QR code to scan to join CERT. It's amazing skills and knowledge that we can gain to help our community in need and during disasters. Our day of service last Saturday, that is coordinated with our local ecclesiastical leaders and through the communities of Pleasant Grove and Lindon, was really successful. There was many outdoor activities as well as indoor, and some of you probably popped around to different things, but that was a great way to turn the tragedy of 9/11 and also what had happened last week, something to move a path forward in service and coming together in unity. So thank you to everyone who helped organize those as well, and we love that tradition. With that, that concludes our council reports on item number 4, and I'll turn it over now to item number 5, our administrator's report.
Just an FYI, we've got, as a reminder, the Meet the Candidates Night, September 22nd at 7 o'clock here in this room, and that will be recorded on YouTube. And then the fall cleanup, we've scheduled for November 15th through the 24th. It's just right before Thanksgiving. And that's when we have the dumpsters placed around town in various locations that people can get rid of yard waste or leaves or whatever, so. That's all I have. Thanks.
All right, wonderful. Thank you. Now we'll move on to item number 6. This is the approval of our minutes from our council meeting dated September 2nd, 2025.
I didn't have any changes. Everyone looking all right? All right, I'll make a motion that we approve the city council minutes from September 2nd, 2025 as presented.
All right, very good. We have Councilmember Hoyt has so moved. Do we have a second? Second. All right, seconded by Councilmember Broderick. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the minutes are approved. We have no consent agenda this evening, so we will now have a quick change of action. We're going to start here first with the review and action item number 10. It has been advised by our council that that is the proper foundational item to look at first before we proceed with the following review and actions, which are tied to this item. So I'd like to point everyone to item number 10 on their agenda. That is what we're going to begin with, and then we'll proceed with 8 and 9.
All right, thank you, Mayor and council members. So this evening, we have 3 applications for you. The first is for development agreement approval. The second is an amendment to the general plan future land use map, changing that from flex office to flex commercial. And then the third would be an amendment to the Lindon City zoning map from research and business to regional commercial. So I put this in a presentation so I'm not, switching back and forth between the different applications. So the property we're discussing is noted there on the aerial photo. It's in the Canopy Business Park. That Canopy Business Park is a very nice, well-maintained business park. It was originally developed as a technology park. The surrounding uses. To the north, you have residential, and that's one of the drivers for the development agreement is because of that neighboring residential. And then to the west, you have industrial, and then the other surrounding uses are in that research and business zone or surrounding it. This is the site plan that the developer is proposing. It's 4 buildings, approximately 132,000 square feet of office warehouse space. The property is approximately 6 acres in size, or 6.8 acres in size. You can see there the different sizes of the buildings. They range from 28,000 square feet to, or 25,000 square feet to 50,000 square feet, and there's approximately 340 parking stalls. One of the issues I see frequently with these business parks is that there's not enough parking. Sometimes you'll see where the units are only provided like 3 parking stalls. There's a project out on the west side of Lindon that I consistently deal with where there's parking issues and they only have 3 stalls per unit. And there'll be a lot more stalls for this development if it moves forward. Some of the renderings for this, these are very nice looking buildings. One of the things, this is the trail that's currently there behind or at the Canopy Business Park. If I go back, that trail there is existing. It was just redone this summer. It was repaved, and then this portion here used to come out about where this drive approach is. It now goes just straight through out to 800 West. So the developer is on this site plan is not proposing any parking that would be between the residence and building A and B. So this is what you'd see from the trail, or you're looking south from this view. So these are the backs of the buildings here. They'll be landscaped. There's a 30-foot landscape buffer between the buildings and the residential properties. That is the same setback that's required in the research and business zone already. These buildings will be 35 feet in height. The current zoning of the residential business allows up to 48 feet in height with a 30-foot setback. So you're actually getting less height on those. One of the concerns from the residents was about these windows right here. You'll see in the development agreement that those windows are required to be clerestory windows, meaning they're at least probably 6 feet tall. People can't look out those windows.
6 feet up off?
Yes, off the
okay.
floor. Yep. And so tenants of those offices or whatever they are in the second story won't be able to look out into the backyards of the residential properties.
Are those entrances off of the walkway into the office spaces?
These on this side are more of a man door. They're not a main entrance to the property. And so you'll have trees planted every 30 feet as a buffer as well along that side.
And would it be separated from the homes just by existing fences in the homes, or?
Oh, the developer will be required to install a new 7-foot masonry wall. Yep, and that wall exists pretty much most of this property up until about this point here. And so it's all along this property line, so that will continue out to 800 West.
Same wall, same everything attributes to what's existing there?
I mean, it'll be 7 feet in height. I don't know if it'll match that same design that's existing. They may decide to do block, or they may decide to do precast, but
The existing is 7 feet.
it is, yeah, or should be 7 feet if they met our ordinance back when this was constructed. Any other questions on the fence or the wall, or that? Okay. This kind of just goes through, again, this is the back of the buildings. As you can see, this would be the residential properties over here. This is the main entrance off 800 West. They'll also have an entrance off that cul-de-sac up at the top. This is looking north to the buildings. You can see that all of the buildings have nice entrances. They have a glass overhead door. Now, you don't, in that Canopy Business Park, you don't see a lot of overhead doors. There may be one, and it's off to the back or the side. Now, these buildings would have overhead doors on that main facade, but in order to make them more attractive, they will all be a glass overhead door. Again, this is looking north from that southwest corner. To individual buildings, this is Building A. Buildings A and C, I believe. Let me go back real quick to the site plan. So, yeah, buildings A and B, which will be these two buildings here. They'll both be a wood construction. They'll have a brick veneer with a kind of a hardy board plank to them. So that'll be this. This will be Building A. This is the front. This is be the back of Building B. So this is what you'd see from the trail. Again, these windows will be changed to those clerestory windows. So it kind of looks more like, this window type here that is down there at the bottom. Building B, again, will be a wood construction with that same brick and wood panel. Building B, here's that rear elevation of Building B. So it's kind of, they've got units on both sides, entrances on both sides of Building B. This would be Building C. It'll only have entrances on that one side facing the interior of the parking lot. Building C will be a concrete tilt-up building. It'll have the wood board form, so they press, have a kind of a concrete. It's concrete, but they press a wood look into that as they're forming it. This would be the back again from the trail. This would be the front elevation. Sorry, that should say Building C, or Building D, and then this will be the rear elevation. So again, it's two-sided for Building D. So there's a number of things we put in the development agreement that are the responsibilities of the developer. So I'll go through these quickly. The developer has to construct it according to these building elevations and the site plan that we reviewed. He'll construct a minimum of 132,000 square feet of office warehouse space that will be for office, warehouse, retail, and manufacturing spaces. The residents had some concerns about manufacturing. They were concerned about, what if we get a wood shop in there? What if we get a, what do they say, a cabinet or a counter business?
They're concerned about the noise of them?
They were concerned about ventilation. They were concerned about dust collection,
okay.
noise. Those types of uses aren't allowed in the regional commercial zone. It only allows like food manufacturing. It would only allow, it allows a brewery at 1,000 square feet maximum. It would allow, and then it says like apparel manufacturing and high-tech manufacturing. So it's pretty limited on the types of manufacturing that are allowed there. The maximum height would be 35 feet with a 30-foot residential setback that have that 7-foot wall. Residents were concerned on that back elevation about lighting coming into their backs of their properties. All the lighting has to be downlit. They have to do a photometric study of the lighting so we can review that before the project's built. They won't have any overhead doors on the back of buildings A and C facing the residents. Let's see, buildings A and B, those are the two closest 800 West. They'll need to have a front entrance facing 800 West in order to meet the regional commercial design standards. That'll be easy on this design to do that. The areas between A and C, the backs of those, they can't have any outdoor storage. It has to be landscaped. The zoning map amendment is conditioned upon the developer moving forward with the subdivision plat, recording the subdivision plat within 1 year, and signing the development agreement. Couple things as well, the developer would like to phase this project into two phases, so this would allow for 2 lots, but there would need to be easements for traffic circulation, emergency service access, utility easements. And then finally, there's a number of uses in that in that regional commercial zone that we wanted to see prohibited due to the effect they may have on, or could have on the residential properties. So you can see those listed here: dance club, a gasoline station, exhibit hall, a convention center, amusement park, golf driving range. That'd be outdoor, rec center, water slides. So those would be uses that would be prohibited in that zone.
So we don't call out the thing like the countertop manufacturing because that's called out somewhere else?
That's already called out in the regional commercial zoning.
Is convention center or music venue, is that like a synonym for the event centers that we have, like Orion and Wadley? I mean, Wadley Farm's the farm one, but
Yeah,
is that what those are considered, or is
those
that
are
different?
not. This would be like just a normal dance club or dance venue, and exhibit hall or convention center. That'd be more, something like they do in Sandy at the convention
Yeah.
center, Provost Convention Center.
Gotcha.
You could have a dance school,
Sure.
but not a dance hall that's music.
Place just to
and-
come party.
Is there a certain reason these were all specifically called out, or was this based on?
They are found in the regional commercial zone. They're allowed in that zone.
I'm just curious why they're called out to be excluded. Was it residents
Oh, because
having comment?
yeah, the proximity to the residential, that was one discussion we had with the planning commission. They said, is there any uses in that regional commercial zone we may not want here? And so as we went through that, these were specific uses that staff recommended that be removed.
What about something like Alcatraz that we have here in Lindon? Is that something that is excluded? A similar use like that?
That should be a fine.
That would be all right.
Yeah.
Okay, because I
That
don't
would,
see
we
that having
wouldn't
an
consider that
impact
an
on the
amusement
neighborhood.
park.
Okay.
I'm assuming you're talking about the get-out games and not the Alcatraz Island with prisoners?
Yes, Alcatraz,
Let's
that
make
is
sure.
not in, the one that is in Lindon. Yes. So like an indoor trampoline, indoor soccer club, something
Yeah.
like that is fine.
Yep, those are
Okay.
fine.
So the residents were mainly worried about things that could spill out into the open air and affect their noise and.
Yeah, or things like a service station that may be open 24 hours or, something like that.
Okay.
And then finally, again, we're changing the general plan to flex commercial from flex office, and then changing the zoning from regional research and business to regional commercial. As you recall, we changed the property behind the Kia dealership to regional commercial 3 or 4 years ago. We recently changed this property here on the corner for Alexander Print, and that project's moving forward. And so this would be the third one in this area that we have, that you've seen to request to rezone. So the planning commission spent 2 meetings on this. They had a good resident turnout, both meetings. Residents seemed satisfied with these changes, so.
I would add on, as he said, 2 different meetings. It was great exchange between the residents and the developer, both willing to discuss. It was awesome to be there to see the willingness of everyone to work together to try and find a good solution. It was really impressive. I think all the residents' issues were addressed. There was one concern that somebody expressed that I don't know that it was fully addressed, but I think it was satisfactory in the response. There's one other thing I wanted to say, but I forgot what it was. It'll come to me later when someone else starts talking.
Just quickly on the parking, I don't know if you've done the math before, you said there was 3 and that was a problem. Does this work out to be almost 6 stalls per
Over 6.
5.8 hours?
I have not done that math.
Looks like there's 54 units.
40 and 58?
Oh,
58
Yeah,
units?
they do want to come back and subdivide this into 54 units, so Yes, so,
54 units,
yeah, so it would have,
6.2, 6.3.
Because if you have that trampoline park or a place, that will drive, and I use that as a little bit of a pun too, drive a lot of traffic there. At least the ones I go to.
Yeah.
You said it was gonna,
Some tenants are more than others, right? Just
Absolutely.
depends.
you said it was gonna be subdivided. What is phase 1 or phase A and phase 2? Do we know that yet?
I don't, the developer is here, he can answer those questions if you'd like to answer those.
Yes.
Can I interrupt here just really quick? I apologize, I should have caught this before. I was sending an email. But technically, as we're moving this agenda around, Mayor, we do need to vote to do that. So can we just back up quick? I apologize for the interruption. I should have caught that originally.
All right.
Just a simple approval of, we are switching the agenda around so that we're approving the zone change after we approve the development agreement, so.
Great.
Happy to make a motion if you'd like,
Yes.
that we change the agenda order and address item number 10, and then are we gonna go 8 and 9
Yes.
in that order? So the motion is to make it an agenda order change.
Very good.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Jacobs, seconded by Councilmember Stewart. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'd just like to acknowledge for the record that Councilmember Hoyt had to step out temporarily, so he was not able to vote on that, but he intends to try to make it back. All right.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Mr. Florence, do you have anything else in the presentation here? Is it appropriate to invite the applicants forward then? We'd like to welcome you up to the desk here and state your names. Make sure the microphone is on.
James Bullington.
Troy Dana, I'm with Westland Development. And can I just say real quick before we start, how impressed I was with your opening comments. And I felt your patriotism. I felt like I'm a resident of Draper City. And I had, included my own son, but other kids that were down at school, and it affected them quite a bit. And I never realized how much it might affect you here, being right here in your own police force and everything. But I really appreciate your comments, and really kind of felt that patriotism, so thank you so much. So, anyway.
All right, council, any questions for the applicants? I'm curious if you have any tenants already that you're engaging with potentially, or pre-leasing?
Not yet, because this was so important to kind of get figured out first. We're still just under contract to purchase the property. That's also probably one of the reasons why we put in there that if this is not done, it reverts back to the zoning that it's in right now, and it doesn't affect the seller. But, I mean, we don't have an intention to do that. This has gone really well, and we appreciate your staff, your planning commission, and everything's worked out better than most city councils that I sit through or properties that I go through. But I'll answer one question I know that was addressed to me. It'd be Building A and Building B probably as a first phase. It's, depending on the market, you don't deliver too many things at once, but, and also kind of go back to another comment that you had, it may or may not be the 54 units. Somebody might take 2 of them or 3 of them or 4 of them, and their business is a little bit larger.
Yeah.
But it's available for those that maybe don't need that much and would like a little more affordable office space.
That was my second question, is if this is divided into phases, and I like that you're focusing on perhaps building A and B first, because those have a little bit stepped up cosmetic features, and that's the, street-facing visual there, so that would, I think that's a favorable way to move forward on it, so thank you.
Is it possible, the way it's worded now, for Building A or Building C to be rented to 2 people? I know it's not a main entrance, but you could still come in from both sides. Is there anything that would keep somebody from,
From making that their front door
well,
on that side?
to divide one of the units in half and have actually two inside,
No.
like your unit C1. Somebody says, hey, you know, they divided out. Is there anything that prevents that from happening?
Probably the way that it would lay out inside, like the way that the lines are drawn there, that's, they're roughly, gosh, I want to say that it was like 1,500 feet or something like, yeah, we wouldn't do that. I mean, if we sold a unit to somebody, because these could mostly be for sale and maybe some for lease, but if we sold a unit, once that person takes over, I wouldn't know what they do, but they'd have to come in and meet all the requirements, and I don't think there'd be, if you just bought one unit and they try to split it, there's no ingress egress, so I don't think that it would work per code, I don't think.
It would be very, very narrow.
Yeah, it'd be tough to do anything that way.
Would your concern be them trying to access from the residential side on that trail?
Through the trail walkway.
It'd be
Yeah.
very
And-
inconvenient, perhaps.
And again, when it sells and it goes to somebody else and his brother-in-law does something and so he's taking a section of it and.
I think with that man door on the back, I mean, I see what you're saying. Be very low probability, even if you wanted to do something like that, because of the marketability of it. There's no parking, you'd have to walk around it, so, but that's not our plan by any means.
I would say probably also, I mean, the residents never really had a concern like that, whether there was foot traffic, plus maybe a 7-foot fence as a minimum. And we talked about this in planning commission, sometimes an 8-foot fence is cheaper than a 7-foot fence. So they were just saying, hey, once that's there, I'm not gonna see that stuff. I just don't want somebody up there to see down at me, so. But yeah, your question's valid, but I don't think anybody would really be able to do much with it. And if they did, I'm not so sure that it would bother the residents. Besides that, there's no parking that's close, so I don't know.
And they're not real large units, so they're not like, and you're talking, you'd be cutting something off to like 1,000 square feet, which would, you know.
But stranger things have happened, right? So, you're right.
Storage unit place and
Yeah,
see what goes on.
Yeah, true.
I had a question with the, and I know these are renderings, so thank you for doing that. It really helps visualize it. And thanks for being responsive to the residents' concerns. That's makes this whole process doable. With the overhead doors, is the way that it works, it's like I see 2 overhead doors, and then on the sides I see just doors that I'm guessing people go into? I'm just trying to think of how does it,
Yeah.
they would have like another door for people to go and they don't go through the overhead door.
The intent with that is not everybody would put in an overhead door, right? If you start talking to somebody early enough, sometimes their use they don't want it.
Yeah.
It's there that it helps them maybe bring things bigger in and out and maybe store some stuff if that business needs that. But sometimes you don't, I'd probably say, I don't know if it's half, but probably not that much, but sometimes you don't have all of them with overhead doors.
And wasn't the door also to have more fenestration or windows to meet the code as well?
Yes.
Because in the regional commercial, there's more windows are required than traditional
Yeah.
light industrial or mixed commercial.
60% has to
Yeah.
has to have fenestration.
So is the overhead door, is that representative of what, like a single unit width?
No, so each unit would have one door and then one overhead
Overhead.
door. So if
Great.
you look at that one on the end, right there, you got that one door that way would go, and then the roll-up door, and then your demising wall would be just right there. Yeah.
Perfect, okay, great, thanks. I figured so, I was like,
Now, you said the roll-up door might not be there if somebody didn't need it, but what would be there
It'd just be a
instead?
window. It'd still have
It's
to
just-
meet the requirements of windows. yeah.
Okay, so that would,
You'd see that what you envision a project like this, you might have an architect, you might have a plumber, you might have an online retailer that has a small little boutique there. I mean, it's all these small little users that, I mean, you can't, it doesn't make sense to go build a 2,000 square foot building. It
Yeah.
prices everyone out of it, but it allows the small business owners to actually own what they operate rather than having to either go spend quite a bit more or just lease for their entirety. So it lends a nice option for the small business owner. There are no docks on it too. One of the concerns is kind of big trucks. Because there's no docks on it, you're not gonna have those kind of users. It's gonna be your smaller users.
That makes a lot of sense.
It's your first step after you move out of your home.
Out of your garage.
I know the path.
So out of curiosity, what is the trail, the walkway, what does it connect to on the east side? So I assume it's out to the sidewalk there on 800 West, and then it traverses the back of those buildings. Then where does it go? Is there something already existing there? Is there a pathway that it's connecting to?
It just connects out to 200 South.
Goes through a couple neighbors' houses, not their houses, but it splits a couple lots.
So currently it comes out right here.
Oh, okay.
So you can just go from 200 South and
Along that,
you can see how it used to jog right here.
right.
Now it just goes straight
Oh, go straight across.
out to 800 West. I don't know the history on that. Do you, Alan?
Ownership, there used to be a house there, and that was ownership of the commercial ground, followed that jog, and so when they approved the subdivision with the cul-de-sac that went in, this trail was requested as part of that development, and so they put it in along their property line at the time.
Was it something that was anticipated might be part of the Heritage Trail, an alignment, just putting this trail, this one little segment?
At the time, the sidewalk along 800 West was a gravel horse trail and path, and it was thought that this would be a connection to that. And when one of the buildings came in, the city, through the RDA that's in this area, made a determination that the gravel was not in the best interest of the majority of the public, and so the RDA actually paid to put in the sidewalk along most of this area.
Will you pull that map down so I can see 200 South and 800 West? So the house numbered 231, that little dilapidated thing in the, right there, is that part of this property or is that a separate property? Okay.
And most of the neighbors, I think, that actually adjoin the project, or at least a handful of them were here.
Yeah, I mean, it speaks a lot that in those two planning commission meetings, they were there. And these guys addressed their issues enough that they apparently didn't feel the need to come here, and
I think
it was a good job.
You know, we all have homes that we own too as
Yeah,
well. And, you know,
yeah.
we wanna build something that makes sense for both parties.
Yeah.
So Mike, a question for you and then maybe back to you. So with my previous question, is a permitted use here like an event center, like the Orions and the others that are sprinkled throughout the city? Could someone come in and purchase multiple units and have it be rent, people could rent it for events?
No, the regional commercial zone doesn't allow event centers.
Okay, great. Then I don't have a follow-up for you. My request would have been to not allow that to be a use because it.
You mean we don't have enough after 10 of them?
I know, it would just gobble up all the parking you would have and it would spill out onto the road and, I mean, it would be.
We have
So thank you. No, no.
a lot of event centers in Lindon. Okay.
So that list, you can, 17.5420 is kind of the list of uses. Here's your limited manufacturing type uses. Your basically city utilities or public utilities. It does allow, a lot of wholesale type businesses, a number of retail type businesses. Services.
I think you'll see a handful of these actually be more office than even in the warehouse side of it, You get in those smaller size office units, you have the ones up on Orem Boulevard, but they're kind of almost a residential grade, below level, but they're functional for a certain type of tenant, or company. And so you'll see some of that here.
Yeah.
I would bet.
All right, council, let's move this along. Any further questions on the development agreement itself? All right,
I'll make a motion.
thank you.
I move to approve Resolution 2025-22-R adopting the development agreement between Westland Development LLC and Lindon City as presented.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Councilmember Stewart, seconded by Councilmember Jacobs. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion carries. All right, as designated earlier, we will now move to item number 8 on the agenda, and this is the general plan future land use map amendment as pertains to this application.
I don't think I have anything further than what I've already presented on this. The request is to change it from flex office to flex commercial.
Stay on your roll.
I will.
Flex, sorry, I'm not, did you state that correctly? Flex office?
Yeah, so
Oh,
the general plan.
The general
design-
plan uses
Okay.
different language.
I move to approve ordinance 2025-12-0 to amend the Lindon City General Plan future land use for the identified properties from flex office to flex commercial with the conditions listed in the staff report as presented.
All right, motion by Councilmember Stewart, seconded by Councilmember Jacobs. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that is unanimous. Also noting that Councilmember Hoyt is still not present for these votes. All right, moving forward.
Yep, and then the last one would be changing the zoning map from research and business to regional commercial.
All right, any questions about?
I don't have
item
any
number 9?
questions, and I'm in support of it. One thing that struck me that is a forward-facing question, I think, for the council. I think all of the zone changes of like a commercial nature that we've done since we've been on the council have been to this type. And I don't know, like when I was reading principles 1.1A and 2.1A about variety, I don't know at which point we start to ask ourselves questions about how much we keep bringing more of this same type in. But I'm still good with this one. I'm just wondering if how we will know there's a tipping point where we've become too homogeneous in some ways and lacking some of the variety that has helped us in economic downturns, how we've had a variety of business types. But that's just something I think to think about in the future, but I'm still in favor of this one.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for those comments. Anyone prepared to make a motion
I
if there's
am.
no further questions?
I move to approve ordinance 2025-13-0 to amend the identified properties from the research and business zone to the regional commercial zone with the conditions listed in the staff report as presented.
I'll second.
Motion by Councilmember Stewart, seconded by Councilmember Jacobs. I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Welcome to Lindon, and we're.
Thank you, yeah.
Thank you
May
for
not be a
working
resident here,
with
but
the
looking forward
residents.
to it.
You know, I think
Can you all just come up to Draper and hold a couple meetings for me there?
Might be easier.
You guys have been great. By the way, Michael is great to work with too. We worked with him before, so.
Appreciate it all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, council. That leads us now to item number 11, which is a closed session. So with that being said, I'd entertain a motion and a roll call to go into a closed session on that item number.
Slide it. There it is. I make a motion to enter a closed session for the city council to discuss potential purchase or sale of real property and pending or possible litigation per Utah Code 52-4-205.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Broderick, seconded by Councilmember Hooley. All in favor?
Aye.
It's
Oh,
a
yeah.
roll call.
Cole, Hooley, aye.
Stewart, aye.
Carolyn Lundberg, aye.
Van Broderick, aye.
Lincoln Jacobs, aye.